And we are. Boom shakalaka. What is going on, everybody? Randall here from Crypto Love, and I am joined today by Douglas Saunders, the co-founder and CEO of Travelblock. What's going on, Douglas?
Oh, doing awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time tonight. And thank you, everybody, for giving us an opportunity to share our story with you.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us. There's a lot of questions we have to ask about what's been going on. So, to begin with, a lot of people are rolling in. What's up, everybody? Vimage, haven't seen you in a while. So, guys, if you do have any specific questions for Travel Block, this is like a live stream AMA, so you can ask any questions you want. But, Douglas, before we get started, for anybody who's new who hasn't heard about Travel Block, why don't you give us a rundown about yourself, your team, Travel Block, everything?
Absolutely. Okay. Good question. Well, I've been in the travel industry now for close to 30 years. So I'm dating myself there, but that's okay. I started right out of high school in Canada, and I started working with Fairmont Hotels and Resorts and Lake Louise in the Rocky Mountains and Whistler, and then ended up at this hotel called Harrison Hot Springs, which is beautiful on a lake in BC, about 500 rooms. And I worked my way into sales. And in sales at that time, it was before the internet actually existed. And it was in the early 90s. And the way that we got the word out to the hotel for people to book and stay with us is we went to the travel agents. So we actually filled our cars with brochures and we drive out to them and we go, here's our hotel and here's the rates. And the thing back then was hotels, they had to have a specific rate for the travel agents that was a public rate. And the hotels had to agree that they could not market their rooms less than the rate they gave the travel agents because the travel agents were the ones marketing them. If the hotels gave a lesser rate, why would someone book to a travel agent? So travel agents agreements were made, and that's how the sales went. And I'm going back a long way because it leads to where we are today. In 1996, when the internet was first coming along, online travel agents came. And I remember getting my first phone call from Expedia. And they said, we're an online travel agent. People are going to book their vacations online, and they're not going to go to brick and mortar travel agents anymore. And I thought, well, interesting concept. And all the major hotel chains at that time signed the same travel agent agreements that they would never market publicly less than what they gave the rates to the online travel. That meant the only way people could get special rates at hotels or travel was through corporate accounts, special events, but closed consumer groups. The general public could not access this. So rolling the clock forward, how could public travel cheap? Well, they had to buy a membership. They had to be a part of the closed consumer group. Halfway through my career, I ended up traveling to Mexico and working with a very successful company here for the past 18 years of my career. Currently, we're selling over $500 million a year in private sales. And we've sold over $5 billion during the time that I've been with the company. And that's people who don't want to pay rack travel rates to Expedia and online travel. They want private memberships. Well, we've been trying to figure out a way, how can we get private memberships to the public without interfering with these travel agent agreements? And so when the blockchain came along, I looked at Bitcoin. I didn't understand it like a lot of people didn't at the beginning. Those that did very, very well. Much like when people looked at the internet when Expedia first started, they looked at that and said, I don't get this internet. You go on the line, what's that? People aren't going to book travel online. Well, today, travel online is it's $600 million, $600 billion a year industry. Travel agents went out of business, brick and mortar went away, and now here we are with the blockchain, which is a whole new technology that people are trying to grasp. Well, when we looked at Ethereum and the ERC20 token, we realized that those who purchase a TRVL token are now part of the closed consumer group. So I went to my colleagues in the industry and said, look, if we created our own platform that had all the feeds that people are paying these $10,000, $20,000 memberships, and we just create a platform where people can buy TRVL and use that as their membership base, is that going to affect these online travel agent agreements? And the answer was clearly no. It's kind of like the loophole around it. It's the way that we can now bring cheap travel to the public. Hotels love it because an empty bed, when a bed is empty, it's lost revenue forever. If let's say you go to New York City and 2 hotels are sold out because there's a convention, but the hotel up the road have 100 rooms left. They're only running 40% occupancy. they want to fill those rooms, but they can't publicly market those rooms less than what they put to the online travel agents. Well, they can through this platform. They can through private channels, and that's what we've created. And we already have the alliances in place. It's not like we're going out and saying we're going to create this platform. The platform has existed for 40 years. People have been buying private memberships. All I was able to do is using my connections is bring all those to one server, one feed, and create Travelblock. And this Friday, the 28th, it goes live. Every single TRVL holder is going to get their own private access. They're going to have their own private membership. You're going to be able to travel the world. And what we're going to be doing is putting out our KYC. In the KYC, because for travel, you have to have your real name. You can't board a plane, it's the same, but you can get boarded cheaper. So we're going to be getting everyone's name, address, email address, your wallet address. The Ether wallet address is going to be your contract number. So that's going to be the number that associates you to your private account. You're going to be able to log in using your email. We're going to give you your private password, and the world awaits. Have fun exploring. We're excited.
Wow.
We're there.
That's awesome. Because
I know that was a lot to put out, but it covers why we're the problem and how we came to be.
Yeah, and it's a really nice solution that you guys have come up with, because the first time I was offered one of these closed consumer group travel things was last year. I was in Bulgaria, and I thought this girl was inviting me out for drinks, but it turns out she was inviting me out to this closed consumer group thing.
Presentation.
Yeah. And so it was awesome because they have all these vacations at really great rates, but you end up paying, $5,000, $10,000 a year, something like that, for access to them. So like if you travel a lot, it makes sense, but if you don't travel that often, it's kind of excessive. Whereas, is it just you hold one TRVL and then you're part of the group?
Well, you're able to access the platform. The thing is, though, you're going to be using your TRVL to pay for the vacations. Mm-hmm. And so, one TRVL is 14 cents. You're going to need a lot of TRVL in order to book the vacations. But the cool part is we've got an incredible marketing team that's behind it. We're going to be doing massive exposure. That's one of the reasons we did for every 5 weeks, you get one free 7-night resort week. We have resorts around the world that want people using this platform. And so through my connections, we have resorts in Australia and India and all through, in Orlando and you're in Florida throughout there, Vegas, obviously throughout Mexico and places where people like to vacation. We have resorts that have sponsored weeks to us that is going to create a massive media, because all these people who use their week, instead of, okay, take the TRVL, well, now I just used my TRVL for vacation, I have no more. What happens if the price goes up? Well, now you've got your vacation, so take it. Go online, go on our Telegram chat and say, oh my God, look at all the pictures. Look at us. We're traveling here. We're using the blockchain. This is the first. It's real. It is a real project. Like a lot of these projects on the blockchain, I've been to conventions and we've been all over, and a lot of them are saying, well, this is what we're going to use the money to create. This is what we're going to use our contributions to do this. Well, we've got the platform. What we're using our contributions to do is get public awareness, get people using our platform. Like when we say online travel is a $600 billion a year, like 22 years ago, online travel didn't exist. The internet in 1996, nobody knew what online travel was. 22 years later now, it's $600 billion a year. That's more than the entire market cap of crypto.
Yeah, that's huge. So you're saying that on the 28th, your platform is actually coming out where anyone who's participated in the public sale will be able to go ahead and book travel at that point.
Yes, exactly. And we're going to be within the next day, KYCs are going to be sent out to everybody. Mm-hmm. Once the KYC is filled out, we're going to be able to activate. The tokens are going to be released and sent to everybody's Ethereum wallets. We're just getting our second audit. Should be completed tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Friday, away we go. It's locked and loaded, off to the races.
Awesome. Now, what about people who may not have participated in the ICO but are hearing about it and want to, to become part of the platform?
as we move forward and we create with our original community and we get them using those weeks that they get for 5 Ethereum and traveling, and we build this massive hype about this is real, this is what it is. We're talking to different exchanges. So as soon as we get onto the exchange, people will be able to go onto the exchange, purchase TRBL, and use it towards their vacations. And so but right now we just want to ensure that the community love the platform, love it, and get the first opportunity to get out there and travel. Build that massive bubble of hype of, wow, like here's Expedia's price, here's where we are, this is the same resort, this is the same room, and this is what we got through the blockchain.
Okay, awesome. Well, if anyone has any questions, go ahead and ask some questions. We'll answer some questions now. Let's see. Someone says, can you get us good rates in Vegas for Halloween?
Yeah, we can do that. It'll be on the site. And Vegas gets amazing rates. Yeah, no problem. It basically, you can book it through Expedia. You can book it through Travelblock. We have all the same feeds that are coming through. The difference is we don't have the marked up feeds because we're a private site, and being private, we don't have to put the public rate. We can put the wholesale rates. So that's A. B, we have private resort collection, and the private resort collection is the key because private resorts are where people actually pay to own at that specific property, and it's part of the exchange network that aren't available on Expedia, and we're the first to bring that to the public because of the TRBL token. So it's super exciting.
So these private resorts are ones that you can't book unless you're part of a closed consumer group?
Exactly.
Wow.
So like Vegas, you got the Westgate, and you've got the and all of those sort of things. You got them all throughout Mexico. You got them all through Orlando. You got them the Wyndhams, the Disneys, and the Diamond Resorts. All of these, they're all private resort groups that are accessible through the platform without paying the upfront membership cost.
And just on average, how much cheaper than booking something online would these types of things be? Just kind of ballpark.
Ballpark. The hotels collection, like the Expedia hotels that are going to be back and forth, are anywhere between from 40% to 25% is what you're going to save off the hotels. But the private resort collection is where you just get insane pricing. Like you can go and stay in Spain for $400 for the week in a 2-bedroom condo, and that's where the massive savings comes because they're just covering the maintenance cost of that unit. They want people staying in the resort because they want people using the food and beverage, using the bars, using the services. That's where they're making the money. And then if you fall in love with it, you might buy real estate there. You don't have to, but that's what there is. And they know about 12% of the people that come through will buy the real estate, but this is a marketing arm to get them at the private resorts. But the public, in order to stay at these places, would have to buy those upfront memberships. You don't have to with this. Then the other cool part we have is it's called Marketplace. Marketplace is our own Airbnb, and you're going to see it. It's the last click on the website. You're going to have hotels, and then you have airlines, and you have car rental, and you have cruises. You have private resort collection, and then you're going to have the Marketplace. And that's where people have their own condos, and they want to rent them for sale. There you can bid on it. If someone has a week and they're saying, hey, it's $1,200 for this week to stay in my condo, you can say, hey, I'll give you $900 for it, which is going to be 900 in TRVL. They'll accept TRVL, put it back through the exchange. You're buying it from the exchange. It's going to be amazing. Wow. And we already have that in place.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And I saw that, I mean, with partnerships, you mentioned cruises, so you have partnerships with Royal Caribbean and some of the other big cruise lines?
Royal Caribbean, Carnival, all the major cruise lines. Mediterranean, like, again, if you can book it through Expedia, you can book it through our cruises. Actually have massive savings because we have access to the largest cruise provider in the world, and we don't have the massive markup that the cruise lines need, again, because it would be like if you're a private company and you go and charter your own cruise ship, you're going to get super low rates and then you mark it up. Well, we have those super low rates already because we're getting the wholesale rates streamed through our site, and TRBL holders will be able to access those. So like Holland America, Carnival, Norwegian, all of them that you have access to.
Okay.
And awesome. It's all of those that get the KYC filled out by Friday. We're going to be as quickly as we can entering everyone's memberships, and you're going to get welcome to Travelblock and onto the platform, and away you go.
Very cool. And then sign up for some cruises.
Yeah.
Let's see. Um, so someone asks, can you be seen as a competitor to B token? And then I would also say other things like concierge or
Well, Beacon is kind of
traveler.
like an Airbnb, from what I understand.
Uh-huh.
That's just one portion of what our platform does, and it already exists. Like the cool part is we're not creating something new and saying we're going to build this, because in the private membership world, the marketplace has always existed, because all of these people, keep in mind that the private membership is $20 billion a year, every year people spend to own private membership. They have what's called maintenance fees that they have to pay to use the product. Well, if they're not using their resort for whatever year, they put it into the marketplace so that other people can use it, and they don't have to put that money out of pocket. And it's only been involved for shared ownership world. We're opening it up to the public right now. So it's literally resorts around the world, private homes around the world, that people are saying, well, we can't use this. Let's say you go to Whistler, and instead of buying a home up there for $3 million, because it's a lot of money, you're not going to use it, you might buy 2 months out of the year. Well, you might only use a month of it. So now you're going to put a month onto our marketplace and allow other people to access that at a reduced price. And it's exactly like Airbnb, but you're going to be able to use TRVL to do that, and it exists. So
That's
yeah,
that is awesome.
what
Um,
we really need is the hype, and our background is, as I said, I've been in this industry for 30 years, and Jeff and Steve, who are co-founders, I've been working with them for 12 years together. We've been selling and we've been involved in this industry. We just knew that there was a better way to bring it to the consumer, and the vehicle to be able to do that is the blockchain. And so everything that I'm talking about, again, there's other travel companies out there that are doing it, but they're saying, okay, we're going to create the platform, we're going to create the alliances, and then we're going to go to market. Well, that takes a lot of time and money to create all that when we already have it in place. And that's the key.
hmm I heard the Canadian accent for the first time
Okay,
there. You said a
I
boot.
do. Got my A in there, eh?
um,
Yeah.
so you're saying that building up the hype is the most important thing right now. What and I know you've been going to different conferences recently. What's your plan for building up hype?
Well, getting people on the platform, because the hardest thing for us is trying to explain it. And they're like, well, show us the platform, but we can't go out and do a video of the platform and put it out to the public, because that goes against the OTAs. And then Expedia will get pissed off and go, well, you can't go showing these rates because they're not public rates. So the only way we can do it is to get the public onto our private platform. They can talk about it all they want, because we're not now a company advertising these rates. It's the public saying, "Oh my God, I just went to Fiji for $800 for the week. It was unbelievable." Now that's a community talking. Well, how can I be a part of that? Well, you have to buy TRVL to be a part of it. Oh, okay. And the way we're going to do that now is getting all the people, everyone who contributed, like zero point 0.1 ETH, gets you into the platform. It's not going to buy you a lot of vacations, but it's going to get you into the platform. Now you're going to believe, oh, this is real. I can actually do this. And now the community are going to be talking on, instead of us saying on Telegram, you can do this, you're going to be able to do this. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah. Wait. Now they're actually going to see it. And the community are going to be, I went here, here's my pictures. That's going to build hype.
Yeah, that's awesome. Once you have the platform out, which is the 28th, then everyone will be able to.
It's a whole new ballgame.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So there's a question that will there be any type where will there be any VRBO type offerings? I don't know what
Absolutely.
VRBO is, but maybe.
Vacation rental by owner.
Okay.
Yeah, and VRBO is marketplace. What they're absolutely correct, and that's an entire section of the website itself. VRBO. Anybody who has a VRBO will be able to put it in the marketplace, and yeah, you're going to be able to do all of that. And a lot of homeowners are going to be wanting to be a part of that. We also have private charter flights. Europe has a lot of private charters that aren't available on Expedia. Well, they're already contacting us wanting to be available through the platform. So that's coming. It's not there yet, but it will be there. And yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Let's see. So I'm curious, how are you guys making money on the platform? Do you charge fees? How does that work?
Um, it's marketing. You see, the resorts want people to go and stay with them. So the resorts pay us by the amount of people that are going and staying with them. We get marketing revenue through them. So it's a different form. Instead of taking commissions, we get marketing revenue from those that stay. And the more people that use the platform and let go, the more marketing revenue we get as a company.
Uh-huh. Gotcha. Let's see. Yeah, so any other questions out there? Let's see. Someone asked, but for resorts and etc., but question mark. And then XYO question mark. Hmm. Not easy questions there. All right. Yeah. So, so let's see. We have on the 28th the platforms coming up.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing because a lot of people, when we're at the conventions and stuff, the trust factor that I've realized that's in this community, it isn't high. And so a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, sure, you're going to have a platform, sure, you're going to have this. We'll see it when we believe it. We'll believe it when we see it, kind of thing. And that's the big thing is we're putting it out. And
And
yeah,
and this is just kind of a continuation of the business that you've been doing for the past so many years, correct?
exactly. Exactly. All we're doing is repackaging it and delivering it in a better, cheaper way for the consumer. And problem, $20 billion a year people spend on private memberships, much like you saw in Bulgaria.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pay this money up front to access this. Problem, why should you have to do that? Because people couldn't just be put onto these platforms because it would go against Expedia and a $600 billion industry. So, solution, blockchain TRBL holders are a closed consumer group. The only way people can access this platform is to have the Ethereum wallet and have TRBL token. Now you're part of this group, and that was the only way that we could do it. And social media is able to bring people in to see what it is, and it's technology. It's just a natural evolution of a business.
Yeah. So, is it? I mean, because you guys have your platform available at probably the lowest price that's ever been seen for a closed consumer group. Are you able to do that only because it's on blockchain, or why specifically is it so low?
Yeah, because the other way of doing it is much like what you ran into in Bulgaria, and many people do. You get off a plane, then you're told, okay, well, we're going to give you this gift. Come on this presentation. They show you what you can get, and it's an old way of doing it, but it's the only way that they could get people to see what these memberships could do. But it was very costly. You're paying huge commissions to salespeople. You're paying all of this, like 50% of what you're paying goes out to get you there to hear about it. So what we're doing is different. We're going through online and through all these different networks that cost nothing to get people, and the hype brings people into the site, and the buying of the TRBL, it's going straight to your vacation. So really we're just taking out, like, it was the same before the internet. People had to get in the car, drive to the travel agent, sit down in brick and mortar to book your vacation. It was cumbersome, it was old, it was archaic. The internet changed that, make it easy from your home, but it didn't take away that price. So what we're doing is just taking out again. It's a disruption. It's a disruptor for an
Yeah,
industry that's old and archaic and ready to change.
definitely, definitely. And you're definitely bringing the platform to market very soon because the ICO just ended and now you've got the platform out, which is pretty
Exactly.
fast.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so pretty much that's it for the questions that I'm seeing here.
Yeah,
Um,
no,
f-
because a lot of what we've been talking about, we've got all these questions from us when we've been at conventions, like, who are you? What's the problem? How did you create this thing? What is it? How large is the industry? And that's what, a lot of the questions that probably a lot of your viewers have,
mhm,
we've covered. Like the travel industry itself globally is $2.3 trillion. and
yeah.
like and then if you take a look at online travel, it's 600 billion. And if you look at what people pay for private memberships, it's 20 billion a year. And so we're coming the first one was a working platform, the blockchain. The first one to bring a TRBL, like a token that you can buy to use towards, it's a working entity, and I just know we're going to capture a big portion of that market.
So
It's
you're saying,
inevitable.
a $20 billion market for the
No, no, private memberships.
for private memberships, and how much just how much did you raise in your ICO?
Well, we raised our soft cap in the ICO,
Mm-hmm.
which our soft cap was just over 4.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
We knew that we'd raise. Our goal was to raise a lot more because our hard cap was to create our own call centers. But I was able to use my networks that we have and contract those call centers out. So people will literally be able to use Travelblock right now. And if you're in India, we have a call center in Goa that's contracted out. If you're in Australia, we have a call center in Sydney that's contracted out. In the United States, we have the call centers. I just mentioned I'm going to be up in your neck of the woods, and that's the call center is contracted out. So eventually what we want to do is have our own call centers. But right now, they'll be answering the phone, Travelblock, how can I help you? Where can we go? So we're able to lower our costs a lot by doing that.
And yeah, there's a lot of room for growth there, because if you have a $4.5 million ICO into a $20 billion industry, there's a lot of room for growth. Do you know approximately how many different companies there are in the closed consumer group?
Well, there's 9,300 resorts worldwide that are part of that $20 billion a year, but those are all accessible through the platform. So we have all of those through our private resort collection. The cool part, you see, when we put this out, we knew that we were able to bring the product out because of the connections. Like I've already been able. It was our own money that we were able to use to create it. And our thought was, why come to a market and say we're going to use the money to create this? What we're doing is using it to create the awareness and build the company, because the expertise is there. The markets, it has been a tough year because the markets, a lot of people who purchased, in last year, their tokens that they paid this for are worth this. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of like we have an enormous amount of people. Like I use the analogy, if you're selling your home, right? And someone says, yes, I agree to buy your home at this price, but we have to sell ours first. And they're waiting for their house to sell. That's what these people are waiting for, their tokens to come or to sell before they can put more into ours for the travel, which makes sense because they've got resources tied up. So that's why getting the platform out now and getting the community to see it and talk about it, and people travel. They always will travel, and then we're going to earn their business.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I travel and I'll be using it for sure.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, here's a question. What type of protections, as compared to credit cards, like a recourse if something goes wrong with the purchase?
Yeah, you're going to have all the same protections, but the refunds will be done in fiat. When you're purchasing and you're using TRVL to buy it, the vacation, that's because that's what we're using as a form of currency for the site. But the refunds come from the airline or from the hotel or from whatever it is. You're going to be able to buy travel insurance on the site the same as you can with Expedia. Same cancellation. Some hotels have 24 hours cancellation. Some don't. Some airlines, like whatever it is that you can do, they'll refund you, but it's going to come back in fiat. Now, keep in mind that the price you paid was equivalent to fiat, so it's the same thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then
part. Let's say you're a Marriott rewards member, and you're booking and staying in a Marriott. Not only are you going to get Travelblock rewards, loyalty rewards, you're also going to get the Marriott rewards. It's the same as if you're an Expedia user, you get Expedia points plus your hotel loyalty points. It's going to be the same with us.
Okay, awesome. And someone else asked, is the membership based off a certain amount of tokens or on an annual basis? And that's a good question, because is it something every year you need to have a certain amount?
No, because you need the amount to be able to buy the vacation. So, if you buy a 14-cent TRVL and give you access into the platform, you can see what the vacations are. But, if it's a $400 a week, you're going to need to get $400 of TRVL in order to purchase that week.
Okay, perfect. Let's see. And Someone else asked how to buy the coins later on down the road will be listed on exchanges.
And that's what we're negotiating right now with the exchanges. So
Okay.
yes.
Perfect. Perfect. Let's see. All right. Cool. Um, there were. Oh yeah. Another thing that I don't think we touched on is just your team because you have 30 years of experience, but
Yeah.
I mean on your team you have over 50 years of experience.
Exactly. Like Jeff and Steve, they both worked in the industry, in the hotel industry. Uh, Jeff spent 18 years. Steve's been 15 years. And then we have a lot of the advisors because our background is the hospitality side of it. So then if you take a look at our website, we brought in a lot of advisors to help us with the tokenomics and all of that to ensure that that's all in place. Because to be honest, we didn't know that side of it. My expertise is the travel and bringing that to the table. So then our advisors and all of them brought the tokenomics to ensure that that's successful for everybody. And together, the team is just amazing. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I can already see myself using it, going on a nice week-long cruise and
for
flying
sure.
to India for my friend's wedding in December. Yeah, all this fun stuff.
Amazing stuff. Yeah, we have a ton of inventory and go in areas like that, which is just beautiful over there. So yeah, you'll
Uh-huh.
love it.
Awesome. Well, anything else that you'd like to mention on this AMA?
Well, I think just thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I know it's late in the evening for you, and sun's gone down here as well. And just thank you for taking the time to listen to us and help promote our product.
Cool. So, if anyone has any more, if anybody wants to find out more information, where should they go? And then also, if they do post questions down in the comments to this video, would you guys be able to answer the questions for them?
Yeah, like we have our Telegram, so Travelblock on Telegram, and we have a full team that go 24 hours a day on there. So any questions, throw it out, and they'll have a team member come on right away and answer that. And we have travelblock.io is the website. So from there, they can get access to the Telegram site and the Twitter site and the Facebook site, all of those sites.
Okay. And the people who have participated in the ICO, they'll be getting contacted about
Yes.
everything.
Yeah, and we're going to be putting it all out in the Telegram within the next day or so for the KYC and all of that to get the information. They're literally just finalizing it all right now, and we'll have it out and get everyone traveling.
Awesome. Douglas, well,
Cool.
thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun. Great stuff.
I appreciate you. Have a great evening, okay?
All right, you too.
Thanks. Bye.
Peace. Yeah.